Okay, so today I thought I'd have a look at a piece of software I'm using to edit my Boss Katana, which is the Katana FXFloorboard editor. And it's an alternative third-party editor for the Boss Katana. There are also versions available for other Boss pedals, so if you're looking for it on Google, you want to look for FXFloorboard Boss Katana, otherwise it'll pull up a load of other versions for effects pedals. And when you look at the website, you'll either have Mark 1 or Mark 2 Katana, and then you need to look for the one for your version of the firmware, which obviously the latest firmware is version 4. There's a few advantages in using this over Boss Tone Studio. One is that you have access to all the sneaky amps, which are amp models that were found to be in the firmware for the Boss Katana but not officially supported. And I suspect what Boss did is that they have a kind of a base firmware they use in a lot of their pedals. I noticed a lot of these amp models are also in my Boss multi-effects pedal. And as you can see, you can select between them here, and there's a few useful ones in here actually. The Fender Clean Twin is pretty good. Gives you a very nice clear sound, a little bit less warm than the default one that's on here. And you've got various other ones down here. Tube amp lead, what else have we got on here? R-Fire. It's quite fuzzy. And various others. And you've also got the default ones as well, which are in capital letters here. There's a couple of useful features you've got with this. One is that you're not limited to the chain order that Boss has chosen. You can move these the chain order around very simply by just dragging these things here. So for example, I want to move the modulation up here, just drag and leave it here, or I can move it all the way back over there. And you've got a lot of flexibility in how you put these effects together, rather than just the 3 chains that Boss Tone Studio allows you to have. Another useful thing that you can do with this is you can have more effects on. And the way you do this is, I'll just show you with this patch here. I've got on here a treble boost and the ability to select with my foot pedal the modulation. I think in Tone Studio, I don't think you're able to do this. I might be wrong about that, but it's one or the other. But what you can do here is you can turn the rotary dial on the amp round to select the modulation, and then that will allow the foot pedal, the GAFC, to select the modulation on or off. Just clicked it there. Yeah, so it's switching that, and it's not switching the treble boost, but you can turn the treble boost on as well. So you can effectively have more effects on at the same time, which is quite handy. In terms of the treble boost, I like using it on a clean sound because it helps cut through the mix better. So I don't really want to switch that off when I'm using the clean sound live. So I can just leave that on the whole time. Now I can switch some modulation as well. And I've also got the other button on the GAFC for switching the pan delay on or off. So that's quite handy on there. So you can load up more effects and you can change the order. It will pop up a little warning sometimes that you need to save the patch on the amp. Now you used to be able to just put right sync on here, but because of limitations in the Katana firmware, it doesn't always save the chain order correctly. And if you've noticed on some of my other videos, I've just said underneath I've put a tone central patch for this, but you may need to change the order, and that's the reason why it's not actually possible within the firmware to save that. So to get around that, you change the order on the software here, and then on the amp you just press the patch until it stores it. So whichever number patch you want to store it in, you just press and hold until they all light up. That way you get around that limitation. Another good thing about this is that it doesn't force the loading of the ASIO driver, which Tone Studio does. Now the reason that's quite handy is because I'm using a setup here where I've got voice meter potato, and I've got my Katana in here as WDM driver, and that allows me to mix my Katana output with other sounds from the computer. Now, if it was on the ASIO driver, it won't do that, because it just, to try and get the lowest latency possible recording, it'll only allow you to listen to your ASIO driver, and I even ended up having to monitor it by using the headphone output from the amp, which is in mono, which is annoying. But this way round, by using this software, it doesn't grab the ASIO driver, so you can use WDM driver to route your audio on the computer and play around with this at the same time. For recording, I'll probably use the ASIO driver, but for just normal playing, teaching, or fiddling around with the sounds, a WDM driver is fine. In fact, the latency isn't actually too bad. If you give it exclusive use in the Windows sound control panel, it's not too bad at all. So you've got everything else you'd have on Boss Tone Studio up here. You've got system things here, pedal assigns. One thing that confused me with the version 4 firmware for a while was that if you use the pedal wow on here, there's no way of switching it on or off from the GAFC. So what you have to do instead is you have to assign it using the assign. Forget about this bit, the pedal assign, and use the old way of doing it, which was to assign the pedal, and then you can switch the wow pedal on and off from selecting it within the effects. Where are we? The effects in here. So you select it in here and then assign it up there. That's the way you can switch it on and off with the pedal, which is what I used on Summer Song when I put that cover version up. So yeah, it's a versatile piece of software. I did donate when I got it because I found it very useful. So the author does a great job of keeping it updated. So yeah, it's not a bad idea to lob some money to him. When you set it up, you need to click in there, and you want Katana MIDI in, MIDI out Katana. Click auto select Katana USB, select your Katana model, and you're away to go, really. But yeah, very good bit of software, well worth the money, and you can try it out for free and then choose what you want to donate. Okay.